17mm is a great focal length for micro four thirds. It's a very good all-around wide-angle lens. It's not too wide, but it's wide enough for most uses. And this particular lens, 17mm F1.8 lens, turns 10 years today. Let's see how good this 10-year-old lens is. Hi, it's Peter here. It's great to be back making videos and making content. But to be honest, I don't feel fully recovered yet, so if there's going to be some inconsistency in my publishing videos, don't worry, I will come back as soon as I feel 100% healthy. Let's start talk about this lens. There are mosquitoes here. It's that time of the year again. But as I said, let's talk about this lens. I've used this lens quite a lot, and it's one of the best lenses from M Zuiko lineup. It's not a pro version of the lens. There is a pro version which is f1.2, but still I've used this quite a lot. It's nice and small, and what I particularly like about this lens is the MF clutch, because I use the manual focus quite a bit, and it's really easy and handy way of using manual focus is using the MF clutch, and I'm really glad that they had the MF clutch on this lens, because it makes it more usable for me at least. How much do you use manual focus? I know I've been asking this several times from you, but I think it's still something I want to find out. What is your relationship with manual focus? Before I show some images and talk what kind of type of photography I've used this for, let's talk about a little bit about the specs. And again, I need to be sure that I say them correctly, because I've been known to say a few odd things. Well, it's 120 grams for it, and as you can see, it is, let's put it over there, really small, and I have it on EM5 Mark III, and it feels a really nice and compact set. It's not too heavy, or it's, you know, it's a perfect travel lens, and you know, this lens with some, let's say the 12 to 45mm f4 zoom, and then having this, you'll be totally all set for many occasions. So that's what I've done in the past. And I already mentioned about the MF clutch, which is, I think, very good. And what's really good about it is that when you turn on the MF clutch, you will have the depth of field scale here. And this lens is perfect for street photography, where you can pre-focus, let's say 5 meters, and then you put f8, and you will have everything sharp from 2 meters all the way to infinity. So it's just fire away. You don't need to worry about the focusing at all. And I think that's a really good and classical way of making street photography, for example, because, you know, the classical street photography DOF or shallow depth of field is not the thing, or bokeh. It's not in that genre, it's not the thing. And the closest focusing distance is 25 centimeters. And if you have the, now I have to check, MCON PO2 macro lens in front of this, then you can get to 17 centimeters. It's not a macro lens, but you can get pretty close with it. And yeah, and that's something also to think about when, you know, traveling or just walking around, taking those close-ups and photographing some details. And this is a very good all-around lens for that too. And also, as I mentioned, it's a very good lens accompanying with a 12 to 45, for example, f4 lens. It's f1.8, and mosquitoes again, they like my head. And where was I? Yes, about the fastest aperture, f1.8 is quite good, so it's very good for those low light moments. This, you know, taking this with you when you go out in a dinner somewhere, you know, traveling, and then, you know, take those nice dark scenes in the city, for example. It works very well for this. And this is fully metal lens, and it's really durable. I've had it for, I think, as long as I've been shooting with Olympus cameras, I've had this lens, and it's still in mint condition. There are some, you know, dents and some wear in the lens hood, which is also metal, which I think is a really good thing to have. I could not photograph without the lens hood, because it protects the lens and also protects from flares. What's going on? There are some birds over there. I don't know what that bird is anyways. But let's continue and let's see what I had next. Yeah, this was about the AF speed. It's not the fastest lens for AF, but it's not intended to be. And if you're using it for fast action street photography, then I would use it in manual focus. It's a lot faster in many cases. And you know, pre-focusing, like I said earlier, you know, you don't need the AF, but it works totally fine in AF. And I've used this for video, and it can really you know, follow the face, or the face priority works really well, even though it's a 10-year-old lens. And it has the so-called MSC motor, which means that it doesn't make any sound when it's focusing. So it's really precise and silent, so it won't ruin your audio either. There won't be any motor sound if you need to focus during video. But of course, in many cases, video is used with manual focus anyway, so it might not be that big of a thing. And then the usage. I've used this for many things. I've had this for my travels. I've taken some portraits with it, some all-around photography and all that. So, you know, it's one of those lenses that you should have in your toolkit. Either this one, or if you want to have a little bigger and, of course, a little better pro version of the 17mm, that's, you know, totally fine too. It's a funny thing, that's one lens that I don't have, actually, the 17mm F1.2. I've been so happy with this, so I haven't really needed that. But that's one lens that I might get in the future, because sometimes I need a bit faster lens, and you know, the quality is better than this, which comes to the image quality, which I've never really had any troubles with. And of course, stopping down a notch will make the image quality better, but I've used it full open and no problem, because Lightroom corrects some of the defects that this might have, the image quality. I mean, like some distortion and maybe chromatic aberration, all that, that's fixed automatically in Lightroom with the lens profiles that are built in to the camera. So that's not really a problem. You don't really see the problems if there are any. So that, in that sense, I wouldn't be too worried about the image quality. Like most lenses, I've always, you know, I haven't come across very many lenses that are so bad that I don't like to use. They all good in their own way, and this is just, you know, a perfect lens for so many things that if there are any small faults, I don't care, to be honest. Just doesn't show in the images, as you've probably seen when the image has been rolling out while I've been talking about different genres, so I wouldn't be worried about that. What's great about this, that this lens is still available. Unfortunately, right now, when I'm making this video, it's back order, so it's out of stock right now, but just place the order if you want. And the funny thing is that getting it new right now is cheaper in many ways than getting it used, because I've compared the prices. It was a little over 400 euros / dollars in Olympus Webstore, and then you get used from eBay about the same price. So I would look a new version of this, and you can get it in silver too. I have the black one because I think lenses should be black. Don't ask me why, but lenses should be black. And here are some more videos about this lens, and also the comparison to the 17mm Pro version. But hey, thanks for watching, and bye for now.